Good morning, Simply Cyber fans. Welcome to First Things First. I'm not Gerald Auger. I don't look like Gerald Auger. I'm working on the beard, working on it, but Gerald's a little more handsome than me. However, he is on vacation, and some of our buddies we're trying to help him out, let him take a vacation and keep his show going. So, welcome here, and expect some other guests throughout this week, bringing you First Things First. Some of his other streams might not be occurring until Friday when he gets back. So have a heads up for that. If you haven't seen anything for Thursday, that's because there's not going to be a Thursday afternoon stream. I think he's got something exciting planned for next week. But Friday, Gerald will be back with his complete awesomeness for today, bringing you some headlines from the CISO series. Thank you, Rick Stroflino, for putting this together, and David Spark for running the CISO series. 1 second. I got to give a shout out to our sponsor, Barricade Cyber Solutions. Cyber criminals have stolen your company's data and derailed your business operations. Barricade Cyber Solutions will help you resolve this ransomware attack and get your business back on track. Eric, I think I see you in chat, and what you are doing is awesome, and thank you for sponsoring this show. Give a couple seconds of shout out to people. Hey, Jess, good friend. Glad to always see you in here. And Carrie and Brendan, you guys are always around. I love it. Justin, Adrian, I see you. I think I saw Jackson here earlier. Yep. Hey, Jax. Good morning, ma'am. I know you've got your show on Thursday, and that's going to be exciting. Anyone curious? Java with Josh is not going to be going this week. I've got a bunch of planning. I'm in a new role at SimSpace and trying to get some things working. I want to set things up so that when I can go back with Java with Josh, we're ready to roll for a few weeks on a great topic. I'm thinking Python for pen testers, some neat stuff there. And if you haven't learned Python basics, now is a good time to jump to cyber and security. Look at Brent Eskridge, PhD's whole Python course there. He's not running it live anymore, but the recordings are still up. And then if you do that, then you'll be ready when I want to jump into some more topics in a few weeks. And I'll post something out there on socials in case anyone's curious. But this is not about me. This is First Things First. So we are going to get into these headlines and let's roll.
From the CISO series, it's Cybersecurity Headlines.
It's Tuesday, May 24th, 2022. Cyber attack divorces Zola users from registries. The wedding registry site confirmed that a cyber attack over the weekend impacted many user accounts. Users on Reddit claimed that wedding and honeymoon funds were either drained or that registered credit cards were used to make high-priced purchases. Many also reported email addresses changed to prevent them from accessing accounts. Zola said this appears to be a credential stuffing attack, using purloined credentials from other breaches to access the accounts directly. Zola said it reset all passwords and all attempted fraudulent cash fund transfer attempts were blocked.
Wow. Credential stuffing that took users money from this wedding registry site. I guess people are able to go into Zola and they can collect funds to use for their honeymoon, or if people don't want to give a gift, Bed Bath & Beyond is not as popular as it used to be. So maybe people just donate money into Zola and then buy gifts from there. And straight up credential stuffing. No two-factor authentication, that would have helped, and using the same password and login credentials that have been used elsewhere and have been breached. So there's a couple things there. I like Xander security for identity theft protection. I can give that, or it's a nominal fee. It's not that much, and it covers our whole family. I've got that and a couple things from the PMO office that the government now gives me identity theft protection for the rest of my life because they've lost my identity a few times. But you throw in your credentials, like email addresses, your name, your address, whatnot, to those guys, and they will then watch and see if there's any breaches of your information out there. And sometimes you get pinged and it's like, hey, this website was breached and these are the credentials that were found. Make sure that you go out and change those. Well, I also use a password manager. So I've got random long, like 30-character passwords or long passphrases, like 3 sets of words with numbers somewhere in there and spaces. And unique ones for every single website and every single login on the website, so that I don't end up like this, because password managers are free. Just do that. That's really easy. Even use Google, even use the Brave or Chrome like password manager where it'll suggest a password. At least that is better. I know there's issues there. I know how to pull passwords out of a browser if you get access, but that is less likely than this. This is straight up breached passwords still out there. They just used word lists, sprayed them, and got in, and it worked. Don't be this easy to be attacked. Please tell your friends, tell your family, tell your coworkers. MFA, password managers, unique passwords. It's not that hard.
A look at the Ransom House data extortion operation. In an age of near ubiquitous double extortion ransomware schemes, it's easy to forget that regular old data extortion can still be a major issue without any encryption. A new darknet operation known as Ransom House seems focused on this, breaching into networks to steal data and publish ransom notes on its leak site. The group appears to have launched in December 2021, not only publishing snippets of stolen data to prove intent, but also linking to media posts for those actively exploited to highlight the publicity the attack receives. If no ransom is paid, the group either sells the data to other threat actors or publishes it on their Tor site. The group maintains it does not utilize ransomware itself. Now we have to...
So this group, they ransom off, they attack, they ransom off the company, and then they extort them by posting their information on the internet. It's ballsy. It's ballsy. It's a Tor website, an Onion website. So it's going to be hard to actually connect it with a location or an organization. Could happen, theoretically. Probably not. What's more likely is they're going to trace ransomware payments through the blockchain using something like chain analysis or block analysis. There's a few different companies that can do that. This is interesting. An extortion market. So they're not doing the ransomware. They're just extorting people who have already been attacked with ransomware. Criminals will come up with whatever they can. It's interesting. Again, I think if they get too ballsy with this, they might get schwacked, because again, you can't track Tor communications or Tor websites. So that's not going to be the way. It's going to be payments to these will get watched, especially if they're millions of dollars. It's not too difficult for those giant companies to spend a few $1,000s on a company like Chain Analysis to follow their payments, watch where they go, and see where they end up, and then turn that over to authorities, because know your customer. Depending on where this ends up, which country it ends up in, they might actually be able to do stuff. So that'll be interesting.
Worry about pre-hijacking attacks. A security researcher from Microsoft Security Response Center and an independent research site. The group maintains it does not use it. A new darknet operation known as Ransom House seems focused on this, breaching into networks to steal data and publish ransom notes on its leak site. The group appears to have launched in December 2021, only publishing snippets of stolen data to prove intent, but also linking to media posts for those actively exploited to highlight the publicity the attack receives. If no ransom is paid, the group either sells the data to other threat actors or publishes it on their Tor site. The group maintains it does not utilize ransomware itself.
Sorry about that. Showed you the same one twice, or told you the same one twice. Yeah, Eric, I don't know why that's a news article. I'm with you. Sometimes I think is reaching a little bit in his picking headlines. It's not easy to pick headlines, but they do it. He does it every day, or they do it every day.
Now we have to worry about pre-hijacking attacks. A security researcher from Microsoft's Secure Response Center and an independent researcher found that 46% of 75 popular online services were vulnerable to so-called pre-hijacking attacks. This sees an attacker registering with a victim's actual email, then waits for them to create an account on the service themselves, often achieved through phishing. Depending on the service, some would perform a classic federated merge, which would merge the two accounts without informing the new user the attacker have access. Other sites allow for an unexpired session attack using an automated script to keep a session active until a victim creates an account and resets their password. The attackers could then bypass email ownership verification by creating the account initially with email they own, then changing it to a victim's address. The researcher said these attacks seem to be possible with sites that attempt to reduce user friction at signup.
Interesting. So by making things easier for the user, they also make them easier to be hijacked. Interesting. Either people go in with a word list and they create a bunch of accounts, and then if you go in and make an account, they've already got access. That's, yeah, kind of crazy. Or creating accounts and then changing the email address in the account to a known email address, like one of ours. And like 75 companies, including, do you see that list? Instagram, LinkedIn, Zoom, WordPress, Dropbox. You know what fixes this a little bit? Two-factor authentication. Don't know if you heard me. Two-factor authentication. Set it up. I'm starting to get to the point where I have to scroll through my authenticator app to find my passwords or my codes. And I think that's a good thing. I thought I saw something in the chat. If you guys want to follow along, I set this up, ! Headlines with an S, and that will pop up the link to the CISO series. Sorry, I saw someone say my name, talking about Cyber and Security Discord. That's a news article. Okay. You guys are great. I love having you regulars in here. Let me know if Nightbot doesn't do that. Yeah, there we go. See? Good old Nightbot. You set it up right, it works. Unlike Streamlabs bot. Oh, Tea with a Hacker on Friday. And we have giveaways planned to make up for last week when there weren't giveaways, but we planned them. Bots. Okay, sorry.
Russia-linked Recon hack hits Europe. The security firm Sequoia reports that the Russian state-sponsored group Turla recently targeted the Austrian Economic Chamber, a NATO platform, and the Baltic Defense College in a series of campaigns. The group is believed to have links to Russia's FSB intelligence service. The purpose of the attacks appears to be aimed at obtaining IP addresses that could be used in subsequent attacks, as well as information on software running on network machines. Now let's take a moment.
New reconnaissance campaign. I'm curious to see where this goes. They don't have much. It's a reconnaissance campaign. They know that there's some targets. That seems like about it. But it doesn't sound like they've actually turned in anything. Russian-speaking cyber espionage threat group. All right. New one to pay attention to. See if something else pops. They don't really give anything else other than, hey, look out, there's this thing coming. Neat. Yeah. Eric, saw you trying out the BCS bot. Hope it works. I set that up yesterday. Oh, great. And I messed up Nightbot for that one. Oh well. I'll fix that in a minute.
To thank today's sponsor, Optiv. Need a guide on your Zero Trust journey? Jerry Chapman, engineering fellow at Optiv and author of Zero Trust Security, an enterprise guide, VMware had a market cap of around $40 billion. Broadcom is well known as a chip maker, but why go after an enterprise stalwart like VMware? This talks VMware had a market cap of around $40 billion. Broadcom, learn more at optiv.com/zerotrust.
All right. Sorry about that. Here's the article.
Broadcom in talks to acquire VMware. Reuters sources say Broadcom is in talks to acquire VMware, although a deal is not necessarily imminent. Just before the news broke about the talks, VMware had a market cap of around $40 billion. Broadcom is well known as a chip maker, but why go after an enterprise stalwart like VMware? This would be Broadcom's third acquisition to expand into the enterprise and security markets after acquiring the B2B software company CA Technologies for $18.9 billion in 2018 and Symantec's enterprise security business for $10.7 billion in 2019.
So I love anything Broadcom. One of my first clients when I was installing AV equipment was Henry Samueli. So I crawled around in his attic, almost 20 years ago, installing Cat5 wire and a long ass HDMI cable. Sorry, to his 50-inch plasma back when that was like the new hotness. But Broadcom looking at buying VMware. Usually with these acquisitions, there's not going to be like a big change. If they do acquire them, it's probably just to bolster Broadcom's not offerings, but a new stream of income for them. If you have any sort of card that connects to the internet or connects to cable or anything like that, you've got a Broadcom chip. They created the multiplexing capability that then turned into cable television, that then turned into satellite television, that then turned into most of the networking that we have. So Broadcom, pretty awesome. That was way before the military. That was like a year and a half before the military. But yeah.
Meta will share ad targeting data with researchers. Meta plans to share targeting data on individual ads with pre-vetted researchers through its Facebook Open Research and Transparency project. The company has been reticent to share granular ad targeting data before, arguing it could be reverse engineered to infer characteristics of individual users. Researchers from NYU that created a browser extension to look at this data from users that opted in were suspended from Meta's apps in the past. The company will also offer more information on political ads in its ad library, showing aggregate data about the number of ads the page has run targeting a given demographic, including ad spend. Ad library data is open.
Library. There's 2 R's in there. Library. This will be interesting. Curious what information we'll get from this ad data. It's going to researchers. This one especially at NYU. I guess to research. They don't say what they're going to use it for, particularly. They talk about why they're worried about it, where the ad data comes from. I guess they're going to analyze what goes into specific ad buys. So people who live in Pennsylvania or people who are interested in politics get these ads, targeted ads. I don't know. There's a couple things that college is good for. Giving you a chance to learn things about the world in a low-risk environment. That's solvable other places. But doing research is the other thing that colleges do. And I don't know. It's useful. We'll see where this ends up going, what this ends up being. Yes, Eric, long before HDMI extenders over Cat5e. Cat5e was the new hotness back then. Yeah. !Discord, David, and you will get the Discord link.
ClearView hit by regulators in the UK. The UK's Information Commissioner's Office fined ClearView AI $9.4 million for violating its data protection laws and ordered the facial recognition company to delete all data from UK residents. The company is also barred from collecting UK resident data going forward. The regulator found ClearView did not collect data in a fair and transparent way, collected it without a lawful reason, and didn't meet UK data protection standards for biometric data. In recent months, privacy watchdogs in Australia, France, and Italy have also ordered ClearView to delete data on residents. And now your should have.
Interesting. So I guess ClearView has been collecting data through apps and whatnot, but they haven't been using it properly, not following the laws. You got to follow the laws of the countries that you operate in or that your software might end up. I assume that it's where they're storing and where they operate as an organization to be under UK. US companies are beholden to GDPR. Unless I think about it, I mixed up acronyms. Sorry. So yeah, these guys are getting fined $9.4 million. That's worse than some ransomware. And this is the fourth time that this company has been ordered to wipe data, including Australia, France, and Italy. You would think after the first time they'd be like, oh, right. Yeah, we will get rid of all this data. I can't imagine it is worthwhile for them to hold on to this stuff and get fined and fined and fined and fined. But companies do stupid things. That's just silly. All right. Ooh, good question. Do you think that people like ClearView who are said to delete the data, so if they actually don't delete it and go ahead and use it, say build a new program or data set used for whatever? Wait, did I miss something? JM. Those are my initials. Kind of hard to hear me. Sorry. I will speak up. Are there ways to check on this? Yes. So the countries are going to keep following up. If you find someone and they pay or don't pay, then you follow up. That's pretty common. Just like if you don't pay your taxes, like they will get you. Trust me on that one. I'm just curious to see where this one's going to go. Yeah. Very interesting. Yeah, you're right. It might be a drop in the bucket for revenue, Eric. And that's one of the things about ransomware. That's why we have a hard time getting companies to put things in place, because they're like, well, we could spend this amount of money and it's going to be this much of a pain in the butt to implement all these things. And you're going to have to hire more people, which cuts into revenue. We're going to have to spend on people and finances. Or we roll the dice. If we do get hit, it's going to be this amount. And for a $20 billion company, a $4 million ransom is nothing. So we can just pay it and move on. And that's cool for them, I guess. But it puts money right back in the hands of the criminals. And then they keep going because now they've got an infusion of tons and tons of cash. Because $4 million to a $20 billion company or more is nothing. But $4 million to a bunch of cyber criminals is awesome. Like, we are good to go for quite a while longer. They could even pay off people who might be looking for them. So I don't know. That might be as spicy as I get. Sorry, guys.
Patch Tuesday update. Cisco patched a 0-day in its iOS XR router software that allowed authenticated attackers to access Redis instances in Docker containers, impacting only 8,000 series routers. Microsoft patched its patch that caused domain controller authentication issues, which had caused CISA to recommend not installing that initial patch last week that should resolve the issue. Mozilla patched a Firefox remote code execution vulnerability disclosed at the Pwn2Own hacking contest. They did that in less than a week. Good job, Mozilla. No Tuesday is...
All right. So Cisco put out a patch last week that stunk, and CISA even was like, no, don't install this one. It's not good. It's a bad patch. They fixed it a week later. So that's good on Cisco. So anyone who's listening, the Cisco new patch is supposed to be good to go. You might want to like wait a second and see if CISA is like, no, this one's bad too. That's neat. There's a Mozilla patch that's out already after the Pwn to Own. So I would, if I'm a Mozilla user, I got to double check, see if I'm a Mozilla user. I don't think I am. I install all the patches as soon as it tells me. Even like Discord gives me like a little banner. I'm like, oh yeah. Way too easy to hack my Discord. So please update, because it's me. It's one piece of software. If you have Mozilla, for you, go patch it. If you've got Mozilla for your organization, take a breath, test it somewhere, then patch it. I don't know, we're just working into your patch and configuration management. There's a process. If you are an organization, if you're a company and you don't have a process yet of things came in, we know about these, we have this software and we're going to do it. We're going to test it in this way, and then we're going to deploy it in this way. If you haven't figured that out, me, Eric, Jerry, Neil, like there's a bunch of us who do this regularly. And we've got companies that we can help you with that, or we can put you in touch with people. Like I know 50 vCISOs who run their own companies, who can help you with that. So if you're like, wait, our company doesn't do this, how do I do that? Find me on LinkedIn or Discord, and we'll get you on the right path. But you need to have policies and a program and a system for doing this if you've got a company. Yeah, that's how Josh gets spicy. Josh gets spicy on people not having good policies set up. BK, I totally believe that you don't patch. I get that. We'll talk about it later. Yeah, hit exclamation point Discord if you enjoyed this. Awesome. If you didn't enjoy it, don't worry. We'll see if Jerry lets me do it again. New guest tomorrow and Thursday. And then Jerry will be back on Friday for First Things First and the Friday afternoon streams. Give us a like, share, put out the word, join us on Discord, keep this conversation going. And thank you to everyone who jumped in. Eric, thanks so much for being me and doing the moderation thing. You're awesome. With that, you all have a great and wonderful Tuesday.